Ukraine plans to establish space forces by the end of this year, a new branch within the defense forces that won't fight Star Wars but will play a critical role on the front. According to the Cabinet of Ministers Programme of Activities submitted to the Verkhovna Rada on September the 23rd, the formation of the Space Forces must be completed by December the 31st. This step involves updating the structure of the defense forces, creating the legal and organizational framework for their operation, and achieving at least 60% operational readiness of an integrated air and missile defense system with cyber and space components. Earlier this spring, the Ministry of Defense launched the Space Policy Directorate, which coordinates infrastructure audits, the drafting of documentation, pilot projects, and international partnerships. The main goal of this body is to unite internal and external resources for the development of Ukraine's military space capabilities. The Space Forces are a specialised branch of the armed forces responsible for military operations in space, including intelligence, surveillance, communications, navigation, and the protection of space assets from threats. Today, they are not about weapons in orbit. They are about the resilience of critical infrastructure, strengthening early warning systems, and cooperating with cyber and air forces in joint operations based on high-quality satellite intelligence. Aviation expert and senior researcher at the State Aviation Museum, Valeriy Romanenko, told Espreso that to understand the logic behind creating Ukraine's space forces, one needs to recall the key requirements for intelligence, accuracy, reliability, completeness, and timeliness. Intelligence also varies: tactical, operational, strategic. We manage tactical and operational intelligence without space forces, but for strategic intelligence. We are preparing to strike at depth with new weapons. A missile will not fly by itself. You must populate its navigation system with information. That can only be done through space means, so we need accurate, reliable, complete and timely information about the strategic situation among the Russians, where their air defense systems are deployed, how their enterprises operate, which routes are relatively safe for our drones or missiles, which zones Russian fighters patrol. All that information must be collected, processed and analyzed by a single body and then issued to the units of structures that need it. That is likely what the new space forces will do, the expert said. Romanenko also explains that in the US, electro-optical and radio-technical intelligence is carried out by a single structure. 90% of information comes from some 250 reconnaissance satellites, whereas Ukraine currently has multiple sources of data. During the Trump administration, there were incidents when the Pentagon stopped sharing intelligence with Ukraine, so other countries stopped it. In addition, the US often downgrades the quality of shared imagery. They keep high-resolution data for themselves and provide lower-resolution versions to others. Right now, we receive such information from several countries, both from their armed forces and from commercial firms such as Maxar. And let us recall the Putler satellite as well. Therefore, we need a single structure to process and analyze these streams of information and pass the data to the units that carry out strikes, Romanenko noted.
NATO military chiefs met in Latvia on Saturday to discuss air defense and deterrence measures, amid a wave of drone incursions from Russia. According to Associated Press, it comes after European defense ministers agreed Friday to develop a drone wall along their borders with Russia and Ukraine to better detect, track and intercept drones violating Europe's airspace. The decision comes after a spate of incidents in which Europe's borders and airports have been tested by rogue drones. Russia has been blamed for some of them but denies that anything was done on purpose or that it played a role.
We meet at a historic moment. Russia's brutal war aggression against Ukraine continues to rage. New technologies are transforming the very character of warfare, and the rules-based international order that has preserved our peace is under direct and deliberate challenge. As Latvians say, he who is ready is never taken by surprise, and Latvia knows what this means.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chair. Admiral. From our perspective, the threat assessment is clear. Russia poses a long-term threat to Euro-Atlantic security. Terrorism remains a persistent threat. Europe and the alliance is being tested in every way possible. So that the task is to equip our forces for the threats and challenges of today and those of tomorrow.
Thank you, Chair.
Russia continues a pattern of provocations, most recently recklessly violating the airspace of Poland and Estonia. And here I really want to thank and welcome NATO's immediate response commencing Eastern Sentry. This serves as a tangible example of NATO's decisive response. The intensity of Russia's drone attacks against Ukraine has created incidents in several allied countries, among them also here in Latvia. This is the reality we face. This is, to some extent, not anymore even new reality.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Your Excellency, State President. For us, supporting Ukraine is both a moral duty and a strategic necessity. Russian aggression extends beyond Ukraine. It's part of a broader campaign against our continent, and its impact is felt globally. From energy blackmail and economic coercion to attempts to reshape international norms in Europe, in Africa, and beyond. We are witnessing 360-degree threats that encompass airspace intrusions, disinformation campaigns, cyber attacks, and the manipulation of democratic institutions. These actions, of course, are designed to sow division, undermine our trust in our societies and in us, and weaken the cohesion of NATO and the EU. Therefore, we must see Ukraine not as a final objective of this aggression, but as a front line of a contest that spans regions and domains.